Asana files to go public, and Asana files to go public, and Asana files to go public. That's right, Asana filed to go public this week, and we're actually going to change up the PLG123 to focus on one story and to go deep on that story this week. So, with that, and Asana going public, let's dive in. We're doing an S1 teardown, but it's a little bit different. You've probably seen many S1 teardowns from folks on our team like Sean Fanning or friends of mine like Alex Clayton. There's a lot of really great resources for traditional S1 teardowns that focus on the financial performance and that focus on SaaS metrics and how these individual companies stack up versus their peers and their competitors. This S1 teardown's a little bit different. We're specifically looking just at product-led growth and the general operations of Asana and how it matches up to product-led growth frameworks. Hint, they do a really great job on it, and that's what we're going to be unpacking this week. So tab 1. Tab 1 is from the SEC's website, and this is the actual S1 documentation that Asana filed in order to go public. So as you can see, the actual tab itself in the S1 looks brain-numbingly boring. So we're going to focus on some of the exciting highlights, and we're going to pull it out of this otherwise drab-looking document. So first was just some level-setting stuff from the S1 document. Asana's mission is to help humanity thrive by enabling the world's teams to work together effortlessly. Asana goes further to describe that they help teams orchestrate their work so that they can achieve their missions faster. And you see some eye-popping stats here: 3.2 million free activated accounts, 75,000 paying customers, 1.2 million paid users in over 190 countries. Extremely impressive. And we all know and love Asana in terms of its actual product as a really great work management or project management tool. So with the background stuff out of the way, let's dive into tab 1, or really framework 1, for how we're going to think about this PLG S1 teardown. So what is product-led growth? In its essence, if we're in the end user era, product-led growth is about embracing the end user, both for the product that you build and building for an end user, as well as how you distribute that product, which is going to be to the end user as well. And so building and distributing to the end user embrace that end user. Makes sense given that's the era. The short story on the end user era is that it's easier than ever to build software, easier than ever to find software and to adopt software. It's usually free to begin with. We can go on apps and marketplaces and integrations and you name it in order to adopt new enterprise software. All of this ease and all of this frictionlessness has allowed the purchasing decisions to go down from the very C-level, the very top, all the way down to the individual contributor or the end user inside an organization. And so it's the end user era. And the growth model or the distribution model that you use in order to access this end user era looks a lot more like consumer growth models and e-commerce growth models. And that's what we call product-led growth. Who are end users? And what is an end user? I have a really simple framework and rubric to use, which is end users are just consumers at work. So this is me. This is me at work. Same exact guy. Now, what does Asana say about this? Asana outlines its philosophy in its S1. Its philosophy is that, and I'm going to read it verbatim, enterprise users are just consumer users, or as we like to call them, people at work, with the same desire and appreciation for high-quality design and delightful interactive experiences. This is why we've set out to design and build products that rival the best consumer software. Asana, philosophically speaking, is quite aligned with product-led growth and the frameworks that we're defining here. So I think Asana and me might need to be BFFs at this point because we're on the same page and on the same wavelength, and that is for sure. So tab 2. So this tab, or this section of the story, is going to unpack building a product for end users specifically, which is pillar 1 of product-led growth. So as you're building a product for end users, you need to embrace end user pain. And here's what Asana says in its S1. So Asana in its S1 breaks down end user pain this way. They say that most people working in teams today spend more time coordinating work in emails, chats, spreadsheets, and meetings than they spend doing actual productive work. Every day they get inundated with requests and don't know where to focus their attention. In summary, Asana says that teams spend too much time on work about work. You got to work on a project, you got to ship something, and the production associated with the coordination and the collaboration and all the work and actually, in order to actually do the thing and get the project done, is at times cumbersome and can weigh you down dramatically. Enter Asana with its end-user focused product that delivers end-user value, and they describe it this way: what organizations need is a system to orchestrate their work, from daily tasks to big strategic initiatives. Asana is that system. You see here at a visceral level from the very beginning in its S-1 document, one of the most important documents that it's ever published in its life as a company, this language of end-user pain and end-user value, and that informing how they've built their company and how specifically they've built their product as well. You see it coming through in spades. The tab 3. So for this third and final tab, we're talking about the other important pillar of product-led growth, which is distributing your product to end users, because again, it's about the end user era. So here's what Asana says in its S1. Traditional business software is sold top-down with expensive enterprise sales reps and slow sales cycles. A new generation of vendors has taken a bottom-up approach, allowing small teams within large organizations to try and purchase business software online. So bringing back the framework that we talked about before and the philosophical alignment that I have with Asana, end users are consumers at work, same guy, whether you're at home or you're at work. And consumers hate friction in the funnel. So if you think about yourself as a consumer, when you're signing up for a new app or new service, whatever it may be, the more hoops you have to jump through, if you, God forbid, have to talk to people, the more likely you are to bounce and remove yourself from that funnel. And so consumers hate friction in the funnel. And so by extension, we can say that end users also hate friction in the funnel within the enterprise or work context. And in B2B, friction comes from humans in the funnel. For example, talk to sales before you can even learn about the product or get your hands on the keyboard, or the need to negotiate a contract, or the need to be onboarded by a human being, or whatever it may be. Humans in the funnel create friction, which end users who are consumers hate. So the answer is to have no humans in your funnel and to make it self-service and frictionless and automated and smooth and fast. All of the things that we love. Now, diving a little bit deeper into what Asana does specifically, they say that Asana takes an unusual hybrid approach. Our optimized self-service engine allows us to land rapidly in teams all over the world, often via word-of-mouth recommendations. And our direct sales team can expand that bottom-up usage into company-wide deployment much faster through organic growth. So you see self-service and removal of friction being incredibly important here. But another important thing to note in product-led growth is that we're not dogmatic about this. It isn't one-sided, and we aren't anti-sales. In fact, humans are still needed. And Asana points to this exact thing in their description of a hybrid approach. And very simply speaking, in the old buyer journey, sales leads and product follows. And in the new buyer journey, defined by and driven by product-led growth, thanks to the end user era, product leads and sales follows. And that's exactly what Asana is pointing to here, with the product leading with self-service and then sales coming after the fact in order to drive faster than normal organic expansion inside that account after the initial land. So when it comes to product-led growth, I think it's safe to say that Asana has it figured out. And I'm extremely excited. Siren passing, almost. Okay, I think we're good. And I'm extremely excited to see certainly how the IPO goes, but more importantly, long-term, I'm excited to see how they continue to chip away at their vision, given how aligned it is with product-led growth and how focused it is on the end user. And the last thing I'm going to call out here, which is something that really stood out to me in the S1, and it's this section in the founders letter that says, for whose benefit? And here's what it says. We, the founders, are individually Asana's largest shareholders and will receive a large portion of the financial proceeds from the company's enduring success. Both of us plan to use 100% of the value of our Asana equity for philanthropic purposes. This is just awesome. And it's really great to see people who have been massively successful in the past. Obviously, one of Asana's co-founders was a co-founder of Facebook, so doing very well for himself. But to not just need to pile up the stacks of gold coins in your bank like Scrooge McDuck, but instead to say that this needs to be paid forward and that we have societal benefit in mind, not only when we're building our software, but also when it comes to personal decisions about what do you do from the wealth that generated from a massive outcome like this. So I'm not wearing my hat today on the PLG123. I know it's the shocker, but if I did, I would be a hat off to Asana for everything that they've done so far and the direction that they're pointed in going forward. So best of luck, guys. I'm excited to see what you do. So that does it for this week on the PLG123. Make sure to follow me on LinkedIn for more daily PLG content, and stay tuned for our weekly episode drops of the PLG123 coming at you one tab at a time here on LinkedIn. Hope you guys are having a great week, and take care.